So last week, I did a layering video where I talked about some of my favorite layering combinations. All through November and December, I was testing out a bunch of different layering combos to see how they worked out. And then I brought a whole list to you guys of my favorite ones. In that comment section, I've had this asked of me a bunch of times, so I decided to finally do a video. The person asked me, how do I apply my fragrance? He was more asking about the layering combinations, so I'm going to show you guys today how I apply my fragrance, both layering combinations and normal fragrances as well. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Kind of a short tips and tricks video. If you're not interested, then just don't watch it. Just wait for my video tomorrow. So without further ado, let's get it. What's going on, my great smelling dudes? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys for joining me for a different type of video today. It's kind of in the tips and tricks style video. So every once in a while I throw a tips and tricks video in there, whether it's about discounters, how to decant, which I'll probably do another one of those soon now that I think about it. And then I was personally asked this by a bunch of different people, but on the layering video it kind of made sense. The person wanted to know how exactly I apply my layering fragrances, and it's actually a good question because it all depends on the type of layering that you're doing, which is what I'll discuss today, and also how to apply a normal fragrance depending on the concentration. So before we get into it, make sure that if you're not already, you're subscribed. We're doing a train to 10,000 subscribers, just hit 7,000 last week, so I appreciate you guys. Everybody hit that subscribe, hashtag 10K, so we can get straight to it. And then also like, comment, and all that good stuff. I don't really know what else to say right now about that, so just, do all the social shit. With that said, we're going to talk about some layering. Well, let's get the original fragrances out of the way. So how do I apply my original fragrance? Well, when we get to the layering video, I'm actually going to spray them on. But in this case, you know what? I'll just try this. So I'm going to be wearing today as my scent of the day, a layering combination. And that is going to be Spice Bomb Infrared with Boss Bottled. In this case, this fragrance, I just spray them wherever the heck I want. I like these to meld in the air, and so you normally want to spray down the stronger base layer first. The one that's going to be your base layer, the one that's going to be the strongest fragrance of the two. In this case, it's going to be the Spice Bomb Infrared. So I'm just gonna, if I was just wearing Spice Bomb Infrared for the day, this is how I would spray it. One side of the neck, one side of the neck, down here on my arm, usually like right in the center of my arm is where I'll spray it, or you can spray it on your pulse point right here, which will cause, if you're spraying on skin, the best place, I like spraying on clothes during the winter especially. If you spray it on your pulse points, so here, 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 that's the warmest parts of your body, so it'll actually cause your fragrance to then melt into the air even more because it'll be evaporating off your skin. Some people say, isn't that bad? Well, if you moisturize enough, which I know it's stupid to even talk about that, but if you moisturize every day with a thick moisturizer, then the fragrance is going to sit on the base layer of your skin and it's not going to absorb into your skin, so it's supposed to actually do that. It's made to do that. So anyway, 1, 2, 3, and whenever I'm wearing clothes, I like to spray right here. Just make sure it's a fragrance that doesn't spray, it doesn't stain your clothes. And then I do one in the center of my chest, and I do one on the back of my neck, because you want that sillage, and the best way to get sillage is to have a spray on the back of your neck. If I'm wearing a hat, which you guys know I like to wear hats, I also spray one in my hat. But again, this is Spice Bomb Infrared, so it's not going to be a super strong fragrance. Let's say I was wearing something that was very, very, very strong. I don't have one around. Oh, okay. So this one's not very, very strong, but it's up there. Boss Scent Elixir. If I was wearing that, I would probably do 1, 2. I would skip the one on the back of my neck, and then I would do one in the center of my chest, and that's all I need. If you only need a fragrance, like if you have Sauvage Elixir, just do 1, 2 and you're done, or 1, 2 and you're done. Pick and choose where you want to have it. I always like to have one on the back of my neck though for the sillage, but for something really strong it doesn't really matter because it's going to create a cloud around you. With that said, so now if we're layering, for this type of layer, again, I put my base layer down, and then I'll put my top layer down. So you can do one of two things. You can spray right on top of where you sprayed before, or you can spray right in the middle and then down at your wrist. So you want to, in this case, I like to spray Boss Bottled and Spice Bomb Infrared. I don't like to spray them in the same place. I like them to meld in the air. So that's the case for these two fragrances, because what I mean by meld in the air, if you don't know what I mean, is that these will come off your skin and then the cloud in front of you is just going to mix. The two scents will mix. And so that's the way I like to spray these two together. Sometimes, I'll just go for both of them. I just always put the original Spice Bomb down first because this one doesn't last as long, and so I like to put it a little bit on top. With that said, that's one type of layering. The other type of layering, there's two other types actually. It's the one that you spray them on top of each other. So you have, for instance, one of my favorite layerings, Baccarat Rouge 540, Creed Aventus Cologne. So if it's during the cooler months, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray Aventus Cologne down first. Spray it in the same spots I told you. And then on top of that, I will put the Baccarat Rouge 540. Baccarat Rouge 540, because it's the sweeter of the two options and it's the fall and winter version. It will then, I'll spray it on top. I'll let the Creed dry for a minute or two, and then I'll spray the Baccarat Rouge on top. Every single place that I sprayed the Creed, I'll also spray the BR540. If it's during the spring and summer, I will then spray the Creed down first, or the Baccarat Rouge down first, and then create my base layer, and then on top of it, I'll spray the Creed. So then we have a fresher fragrance that has a little bit of that warm candy-like back tone that you get from BR540. But again, if I sprayed the Creed down first, you would have more of like a fresh and woody back tone from this. And then on top of it, you would have the main part of the fragrance being that BR540 DNA. So that's the way to do that. The third way to layer is going to be if the fragrance doesn't last very long, but the other one does. For instance, Tommy Bahama Set Sail St. Bart's lasts about 45 minutes. Then you have Light Blue Eau Intense, which lasts about 7 hours. Well, in that case, you want to spray down the light blue, and then you want to spray two. So you want to spray one spray of the light blue in each spot that you want to spray it. And then in every spot that you sprayed the light blue, you want to do 2 sprays of the Tommy Bahama, because it's the lighter of the two. And then that light blue intense DNA is going to then cause the Tommy Bahama to then last almost as long as the light blue. So when you mix the two, it turns into like a tropical mojito. And not only that, but then you get the Tommy Bahama Set Sail St. Bart's, instead of lasting 45 minutes, lasts about 6 to 7 hours. And that's the way that it works when you layer the two together, but that is only on skin. If you do it on clothes, it doesn't seem to work as well with those two, but that's also during the summer, so you're not wearing long sleeves. But I like to do, for instance, I'll do like a light blue right here, and then 2 Tommy Bahamas on top of that. Light blue right here, 2 Tommy Bahamas on top of that. Light blue right here, 2 Tommy Bahamas on top of it. And you can do that because Tommy Bahama Set Sail St. Bart's, you can spray it 500 times and nobody will notice. But when you put it on the skin, they'll meld and mix together on your skin. And then that light blue DNA, the isoe and whatever else is in there, causing it to last 7 hours, mixes together with that Set Sail St. Bart's and causes it to mix into this tropical mojito for about 7 hours. But that's pretty much it. When it comes to, again, normal fragrances, I mean, spray according to the concentration. So if you have an eau de toilette, for the most part, the eau de toilettes are going to be the fragrances that are going to project the most of the original 3. So the eau de toilette, eau de parfum, and parfum. Usually the eau de toilettes are the strongest, but the shortest lasting. The eau de parfum is going to be the most versatile, so it's going to be a mix of the good longevity and good projection. And then you have the parfum, which is going to be the one that usually doesn't perform or project as well, but it lasts the longest. And then you get to elixir, and elixir is kind of, just crazy projection, crazy longevity. It's like you get the best of both worlds. So it all depends on the type of fragrance you're spraying, how much it lasts. That's kind of common sense in that fact, is that you want to spray it according to how much it's going to perform. And so if you know a fragrance doesn't last that long, for instance, Jimmy Choo Man Ice during the summer, you spray that 100 times, you walk out the door, and in 2 hours, 3 hours, it's gone. That's just the way that fragrance works. And so there's not really a spot to spray that on. You just spray it everywhere. But if you're wearing Sauvage Elixir, you want to be more selective of where you're spraying, because it's a 2-spray fragrance max. And so you're like 1, 2, done. Or do you not want to have so much of that close to your face that you actually just want to spray like 1 at the chest and 1 in the back, and that's it? It really just depends on how you like your spray routine. For me, for the most part, most fragrances are between moderate and above average. So for me, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have a 6 spray routine. That is what my average is, with a 7th in the hat if I'm wearing a hat. Most of my fragrances, that's what I wear. Unless it's a really, again, very light fragrance. Heavy fragrances I usually don't like. But for instance, like this, 3 a.m. by Sean John, I'll spray this 20, 30 times out of the shower. At first, it's very strong for like a 30-second period, and then it's really dead. But anyway, yeah, that is really interesting stuff. If you're new to fragrances and you want to know how to layer fragrances, there's 3 different ways. Again, it depends on the style of fragrance. If you want to go watch my original layering video I did last year and at the beginning of January, feel free. That gives you some ideas of what to layer. But as far as spraying, your spray routine is yours. So whatever you're comfortable with, do. It's just the main places are your pressure points and on the back of the neck to get your sillage. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Don't be scared to spray on clothes. Just make sure it doesn't stain. I know a lot of people are against that, but you spray on clothes, you're going to get better projection, better performance for the most part, unless it's during the hot summer. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. I'll be back with another one. Peace out.